Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, very early this morning, signed a bill that allows for police departments to charge up to $75 an hour for footage of body cam footage, and that has to be capped at $750. So there's, really not a ton to say about it. I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of the issues with something like this, is that clearly it makes it more difficult for the public to have access to body cam footage, which obviously bears or lays bare the incentive to keep police departments safe from their own actions, from public opinion, or from the ability to be prosecuted successfully in the court of law. If there was not a problem with police violence in the country, then this would not be necessary. And the explanation for it is basically, well, it can be really burdensome for police departments to have to, reveal the footage of them shooting someone, or planting evidence, or misusing their authority in some form or fashion. It just takes a lot of time, just puts a lot of extra hours on people's schedules, and we don't want to be a burden. No, 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 no. Because, if there was no overlaying problem with police abusing their authority in this country, then something like this wouldn't be necessary. So we'll check this out. But obviously, there are a lot of people who are upset about this decision, and it's pretty straightforward again what this is. Late Thursday night, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine signed HB 315 into law, a roughly 450-page omnibus bill. And again, just in case you're unfamiliar, omnibus bills are basically like funding packages where there's a whole lot of unrelated issues in one thing. So it could be something with infrastructure, something with Social Security, something with the Medicaid system, something with the education system, like all packed into one thing. But yeah, lots of funding and stuff. All right, let's see. Where were we? All right, yeah. So the HB 315 will allow law enforcement agencies to charge the public for access to police videos, including body cameras, dash cams, and jail surveillance footage. With the new law, agencies are now permitted to charge an estimated cost of up to $75 per hour of the footage to help reimburse for the labor and processing of the video. And again, that has to be capped at $750. So let's read some of the pushback. Amid pushback for approving the decision, DeWine told News 5 that he is a, quote, strong proponent of police cameras and does not intend to impede access to the footage. I'm not going to impede access to the footage. I'll just make it more expensive, more difficult to get it. And as we'll read in a second, obviously people have a difficult time, especially if you have a family. Those extra dollars are fewer and more far between. So it's less likely for people to seek access to that footage if they don't have the money. And a lot of people don't have the money. Mike DeWine says law enforcement warned body cameras and dashboard cameras have been a major improvement for both law enforcement investigations and for accountability. However, I'm sensitive to the fact that it is changing. That this changing technology has affected law enforcement by oftentimes creating unfunded burdens on the agencies, especially when it comes to the often time-consuming and labor-intensive work it takes to provide them as public records. Well, y'all are public servants. So again, if you shoot somebody, or, if there's some evidence that's been misplanted or something like that, clearly, but again, this is pretty straightforward. Republican, and now this is what they say here. Republican state rep Bill Seats, who sponsored the bill, previously told News 5 for this Ohio news organization that the provision, quote, only applies if you want the public office to make a copy of a video record, and only if it relates to law enforcement, and only if the public office opts to charge. So again, basically, if you need the tape for something, then you're going to have to pay for it. People can still inspect the records for free and make your own video of the video. You can't get quality access to the footage, but you can use your phone to record the recording. But yeah, so again, and this is here we go. Case Western Reserve University law professor Jonathan Enton previously explained how the provision could have a practical effect on whether police footage sees the light of day. Quote, people are talking about how it's hard to afford groceries these days, or clothing, or the car, or your medicines, right? Enton told News 5 when the bill first passed by the legislature. Quote, if you've got all those things, having to pay $75 an hour for video, even for 1 hour, might bust your budget, and therefore you might not ask. And that's very true. Again, I mean, this is pretty straightforward what this is really about. It's just making it more difficult for the public to get access to footage that may be damning for law enforcement in Ohio.
Hey now, thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and really helps to support what we do here.